Hi. Hey. Hi. It's me. Your void. Beans! It is once again time for another round of the super amazingly spectacular Adventurerathon, created by Kirsty from K-Beth Bookish and co-hosted by yours truly. And this time we go all the way back to the original Gen Fan land. We are back at the Guild Hall after our troubles with the Driftwood and going places and then not managing to actually reach places and then having to rebuild and then go back to places. Now we managed to get back without drowning and we are back home, basically. But things have changed dramatically because an ecological collapse has been happening while we were away. Magical beans have run amok in Gen Fan land, and it is now our job as the adventurers to collect these beans and dispose of them. What you are actually doing with them is up to you. You can collect them or you can just get rid of them. That is up to you. But you might want to think about what you're doing with the beans because there may or may not be consequences to what you are doing with them. These magical beans also have caused some changes in the landscape of Gen Fan land. So the adventures you had before might not be the same adventures you are going to have now. A lot of things have changed. For better or worse, depends on your point of view, I guess. But that also means you have the same locations as during our first adventure when it comes to prompts. We have 2 new locations you can explore, which were previously only found in bounties. And each of these locations comes with your own reading prompt. How many of these you do is completely up to you. As always, all you need to do is read a singular book. And that is all you need to do to win this game. The more, the merrier, but the quantity of books you read is completely up to you. It's a very chill readathon. You're also not bound to any kind of page minimum, page maximum, any kind of genre restrictions. This readathon is leaning into fantasy stereotypes, so a lot of the prompts will be easiest to fulfill with a fantasy book, but the prompts are specifically worded in a way that you can use most genres available to you. That's like the whole goal of this thing, to be inclusive as all hell. If you want to know about the lore and the prompts and everything else, go to Kirsty's announcement video. I will link it down in the comments below, because I don't have time to talk you through all of that again. Just go watch the announcement video. We are gathered here today to listen to my pathetic little TBR. I have picked a book for every single prompt, every single location prompt. If I timed my videos right, there is also a recommendation video for some of the less individually defined prompts out by me, from me, for you. Links are somewhere up here above my head and also down in the description down below, I hope. So let's talk about my books, okay? I also just realized that I did not write the location corresponding to the prompt into my notes, so you will get the prompts and the location is a mystery even to me. First up, we have the prompt of read an author that you have read the most of. I will give myself the restriction of reading from the author I have read most of this year, which would be Martha Wells, and for that one I'm going to read another Murderbot entry, in this case Fugitive Telemetry, which is currently, I believe, the last one out, but the next one has already been announced, so I will catch up for the series only to be 1 book behind again. In the Murderbot Diaries we follow the titular Murderbot, which is a sec unit, like it's a security robot with biological parts, and this robot has gained sentience and now wants to do its own thing, but humans keep meddling in the things Murderbot wants to do, and that is very tragic because Murderbot hates one thing and one thing only, and that is humans and having to interact with them. Specifically eye contact, and if I remember correctly, the blurb for Fugitive Telemetry specifically states that Murderbot has to actually engage in some eye contact. I feel you, Murderbot. Eye contact is scary. Next up, we have a book with autumnal vibes, and for that one I picked up a repeat offender with The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. Now, I tried to read this for Aurelium last year in April, but then I realized quickly this is a very atmospheric read for fall, so I kept it for fall only to not read it. But now it is fall again. How many times can I say fall in this video? So now it's the perfect time to pick this up and read this. This is one of V.E. Schwab's earlier publications, if not the earliest. I think it's like the second one that she published. It's definitely one of her earlier works, and this one is said to have some fairy tale-esque vibes as well. And it is about a town called Near. It's like a small town and everyone knows everyone, but one day there is like a strange boy appearing in the mists around the town, and he's like disappearing and reappearing, and the second he is starting to show up, children start getting lost and they are just missing. So now the town is in uproar, and there is also this legend about the witch in this place who eats children or something. I don't know. And we follow Lexi, who is trying to figure out who the boy is, trying to find the children. I don't know. But this one is the most autumnal I can get, I think. The next prompt is to read something that has something that is upside down on the cover. Now that is a bit of a interpretation thing. Like, what is upside down? Technically you can say an O is upside down, even though it's not, if it's like a symmetrical O, but I'm digressing here. I picked up The Wicked and the Divine for this one, which, as you can see, half of the title is just upside down. This is a comic about, if I remember correctly, about a group of people who are touched by the divine or something. Like, every couple of years there's like this big battle between the divinity and the bad, like the good and the evil forces, and they just dish it out on like the mortal soil or something, but they all use basically like avatars in the game and they are like mortal. I don't know, it's been a hot second, as in a couple of years, since I read the blurb. I always found The Wicked and the Divine very interesting sounding. I just never picked it up for some reason, and now I have picked it up and I forgot the blurb. It has something upside down on the cover. Go with it. The next prompt is the prompt I probably hate the most in this year's selection, and it is the prompt to read something that features the colors of your favorite soda on the cover, and it specifically says that it has to feature most, if not all, of the colors of your favorite soda. Now, I am a water drinker. Specifically still water. I drink tap water. It's a thing you can do in Germany. I drink tap water. I have a giant ass mug and I drink tap water. There's not a lot you can do with that. And I don't really have a favorite soda because I'm not that much of a soda drinker. I just don't like carbonized drinks. So Kirsty says, hey, you can go with like coffee or something. We also have an option for water. So if you are a water drinker like me, we got you covered. But I was like, no, I don't want to go with coffee, matcha. I wouldn't say matcha is my favorite drink. It's just like the thing that I'm drinking currently. So I defaulted to one of my favorite energy drinks. I have two flavors of energy drinks that I really, really like. I will not show you the energy drink because the company that is producing these is actually a company that I do not want to support currently, given certain international politics going on. That is all I will say about this. So I will not show you the energy drink, but the energy drink is mainly stark blue with a couple touches of a golden yellowish and some white on it. So those were the colors I went with. And the only book that fits that specific color scheme, and actually the exact shade of blue in my opinion, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This book is like an internet sensation. Everyone loves this for some reason. So I want to know what it is. This is a book in which we focus on the relationship between Achilles and Patroclus. You know, history's favorite best friends, maybe even roommates. Fun fact, they were probably cousins. It romanticizes their whole relationship, apparently, during them fighting the war on Troy, I think. I am not quite sure. The only thing I am sure about is that a lot of people cry at the end. Because, spoilers, I guess, they both die. I am not someone who gets emotional when reading books. It's very rare that I shed a tear over a book. So I guess this will be the big challenge. Can this book make me cry? Then we have the prompt of read something that has a silhouette on the cover. For that one, there are many options. These days, many books have silhouettes on the cover. But I chose to go with a series continuation, actually, because I really need to finish this. I checked my stats and I have been chopping away at this series for almost 3 years at this point. I am talking about the Creature Cafe series by Cleo Evans, and the next book I will be reading in this installment is the second to last of the first era of the Creature Cafe series. Cleo Evans just announced a vast expansion on the second era. But the the entry of the series I will be reading is Little Souls of Fire. I have no idea what Little Souls of Fire is about. I think we have 2 angels and a human in this one. The overarching story of the Creature Cafe is that creatures, monsters of all kinds, go to this one place, the titular Creature Cafe, and they meet up with the barista, who is a Grim Reaper, so he can see the souls of people. And the barista has one job and one job only. He wants to connect people, namely humans, with their monster counterpart. We have a lot of fated mates going on in these novellas. And this time around, if I remember my blurbs correctly, we have an angel who is already in a relationship with another angel, and he now wants to find a human mate for his angel mate. And then we end up in a little throuple situation. But don't quote me on that. I'm notoriously bad at remembering which Creature Cafe book does what. Cool. And then comes the prompt that enables me to hopefully do the thing that I wanted to do last round of the Adventurerathon, but I didn't get around to it. The prompt says to read something from your favorite author. Let's play a little Dora the Explorer here. Do you know who my favorite author is? Cool. Yes, you are correct. I will be reading a Brian McClellan book. I will be reading Blood of Empire by Brian McClellan, which is the 3rd book in the 2nd Powder Mage trilogy, and it is the last unread Powder Mage book that I have that is currently existing. He is writing another novella. Yes. And I started this 2nd trilogy for Adventurerathon, and I continued this series for Adventurerathon, so I thought to myself it is only poetic if I finish it out for Adventurerathon. Last round, I didn't get around to it. This round, this is my chonky. This is the book I will be chopping away at for the whole month, but I will finish this, 700-page behemoth of a book? You can kill someone with that. In this Powder Mage trilogy, we follow Flora and Olem as they try to navigate their life as mercenaries in a nation that hired them to basically bring peace to the outer rims of their nation, and then this nation is attacked by another nation that has been in total isolation for 100 years because that nation desperately wants something that is in this other nation, namely a thing that can turn people into God. Now, Flora and Olem had their fair share of fighting against gods in the 1st trilogy, so they have an opinion on this. Given that this is book 3, I expect big explosions to happen. My favorite character of any of the books just showed up at the end of book 2, and usually when he shows up and starts doing things, shit goes haywire. I love him. But all the other characters in here are also amazing, and reading a Powder Mage novel is just, feels like coming home for me. It's just, yes, these are my babies. These are my babies, so I'm very excited to read this one. Next up is the prompt to read a book that features on language and or storytelling. I love books that are stories about stories. The Star of the Sea, you can't see it right now. The Star of the Sea is one of my favorite stories, and it's a story within a story within a story about stories. I love that shit. So for this one, I will pick up Archive of the Forgotten by A.J. Hackworth, if I remember correctly. And that is the second book in the Hell's Library series by, yes, A.J. Hackworth. And in this one, we follow Claire, who is a librarian in Hell, specifically for the Library of the Unwritten, which is a library where all the books are unfinished stories someone just started and then, like, never finished. And her job is to make sure that these books stay books, because apparently these unfinished stories have a tendency of coming to life and trying to find their author to get the author to finish the story. But that can have, like, grave consequences for everyone involved in the story. So Claire is trying to keep everyone in their books and in Hell. Shit went down in book 1. So now we also have a archive in the mix. I believe the archive was actually like for magical artifacts and shit, and that was helmed by a demon. And now Claire has to deal with that as well, I think. I did not read the blurb for Archive of the Forgotten, but I loved Library of the Unwritten. Like, you have an ex-librarian and Claire, the current librarian, fighting each other by quoting things. Like, they literally weaponize quotes, and you have to interpret them in the right way to not get damaged, and then respond with the quote in kind that makes sense. It's so cool. I also hope we get to see more of Hero and of I forgot everyone else's names, but there are a lot of characters in here that are just amazing. And I also hope, that's my personal hope, that we get to see more of Claire and Lucifer's relationship, because apparently Lucifer is a very bad library goer. Claire has a personal beef with Lucifer, and she insults him left, right, and center, and everyone is like, "You did not just say that," and he's like, "Yeah, I did. He can come here and complain," and then he never shows up. Like, yes, I need to know what their beef is. I need to know. Then we have the prompt of read something in a dystopian setting, something with a grim dark setting, or something with like post-apocalyptic, active apocalyptic setting, something like that, right? And for that one, I picked up Tender is the Flesh by, I forgot the author's name. But Tender is the Flesh is another one of those famous books that went around the internet, because it apparently is so amazingly disgusting. I don't really know what it's about. I just know that something happened and now humans consume human flesh, and there are actually like human, like, it's basically there's a human variety that is treated as cattle, like they are just used as cattle. So I expect great fucked up things from this book. The second to last prompt is actually a tighter definition on the generic TBR veteran prompt. This one specifically states that the book you want to read has to be on your TBR for at least 3 years. I have to bend the prompt a little bit for this one, because the book I will be talking about has been on my TBR technically for 10 years. The book itself, the physical manifestation of the book, has just entered my life. I think last year for Christmas. I think. I'm not quite sure. I am talking about Tricked by Kevin Hearn, which is the 4th book in the Iron Druid Chronicles series, which follows a 2100-year-old druid, the last of his kind, and his life in Arizona when all of the gods from multiple pantheons have beef with him for multiple reasons. Specifically in book 3, he fucked shit up to a point where he now probably has to leave his home in Arizona, and he's taking his newly appointed apprentice with him, and his trusty wolf dog Oberon. I'm not quite sure where the story will go, and I refuse to look at the blurb, because I want to go in blind, actually. The first 3 books I read when I was like somewhere between 16 and 19, and it's very much a read for boys and boyish men, if you know what I mean. So these are not necessarily intellectual masterpieces. They are not very deep, but they are fun reads, and they play with mythology in a very fun way. Jesus Bless the Cheeseburger, for example. That was hilarious. Shit happened in book 3, and I recently reread book 1, 2, and 3 for the last round of Adventurerathon, if you remember. So now I will read book 4. This is my first time reading book 4, and I also have book 5 on my TBR. You can't really see it. It's like right up here. But yeah, this is my first time going in, so I have no idea what's going on this time. In book 1, we had an Irish god hunting down Atticus because Atticus stole a sword. In book 2, we had beef with some Polish and some German witches. And in book 3, we went to Asgard and pissed off a couple of gods over there. So I have no idea what's going on in here, but I'm excited to keep going with the series. And for the last prompt, Kirsty does a scarathon move on us, and we are supposed to read something that makes us uncomfortable. How you define uncomfortable is completely up to you. You can read something that has triggering content for you. Be careful, like, don't put yourself into a bad headspace just to fulfill a prompt. Just no, this is supposed to be fun. You can also read something that is just about, I don't know, current topics, I guess. If you're comfortable with current topics, then something is very wrong with you. Or you can do what I do, and you can read just outside of your comfort zone. And outside of my comfort zone is, amongst other things, reading non-fiction books. I have been on a bit of a spree in terms of non-fiction earlier this year, and then I just fell out of it because it is very hard to find a nonfiction that I'm actually interested in. Like, they have to be presented in a certain way to keep my brain engaged. Which also brings me to why I'm not pointing at a funny little book up in the corner right now. Because I don't know what kind of nonfiction I want to read just yet. I have this new habit where I'm spending 45 minutes every morning of just reading a nonfiction, but like actively read it and take notes on it. And I have a long list of things that I want to get through, but depending on what nonfiction I'm reading, I don't know how quickly I can get through said nonfiction book. So I don't yet know where I'm gonna be at on the list when I start reading for this prompt. So I just said any nonfiction in my notes, and I will read a nonfiction book this month to fulfill that prompt. That is all you get. That is all I can give you. And there you have it. This is my TBR for November for the Adventurerathon. Again, this is only for the main location prompts. There are more prompts for those who have to be a endless overachiever, I guess. But this is what I will be focusing on for the month of November. If you made it this far into the video, let me know if you're participating in the Adventurerathon, if you have participated before, if this is your first round. If you have any questions about how shit works, you can leave those down in the comments below as well. I'm happy to answer them. Kirsty's also happy to answer any questions. We also have a Discord and an Instagram account for this whole thing, so check those out if you are so inclined. And if you don't want to talk to me at all, leave a bean emoji down in the comments below. Because beans! I don't even know if there is a bean emoji. If there's no bean emoji, use the sprout, the little sprout emoji, like the plant sprout thing emoji down in the comments below. And yeah, that's it. I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye.